On and everything. I call the Mexico City Council meeting for January 26, 2026 to order. Roll call, please.
Weber.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs. Ray.
Presentation, Economic Development Department, Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. It's that time of year again. We do departmental updates, and we are starting with economic development tonight, so.
Gee, I wish it was good. Or gee, I hope it's good.
Hello. Okay, well, yeah, I worked on this a long time. You know, you cut, you paste, you don't, I wanted to kind of fill you guys in on everything, but then you go back and you can't get it all in there, or we'd be here all night, so. So, just to kind of give you something that we had done last year to tell you that on 2025 new businesses, we had 26 new business license. 11 of the 26 are brick and mortar building, 6 are home-based for our food trucks, and 5 are beauticians. In 2025, we had 5 business closings also. We also had, in 2025, 20 new single-family housing permits issued, and of those permits, 8 were from our Housing Incentive Program, the HIP program, that were construction, and 3 were from the demolition program. So that was nice. And we had 4 commercial additions also.
Tell me again the Housing Incentive Program, please.
The Housing Incentive Program was the one that Eric Schmidt and Cameron, yeah. And then also off of 22, the Saddlebrook, that was the incentive that the county and the city collaborated on to give incentives. Those have since expired. These are just from prior ones.
Is that the 10,000 a lot incentive?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
sorry.
That was to get
Yes.
single-family residential lots on the ground.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
one you were referring to, but I wasn't 100%
And,
sure.
yeah, and we don't have any of that going right now that initially expired. The last year's that was utilizing it did not utilize it, and the county has since decided not to participate in that, so it'll be up for discussion on what we want to do with our portion and see what we're going to do with that. Also, our top companies of employees, and I will say Western Smokehouse, I did get a recent update. They're at 120 now, and I'll cover that in a later slide. And I went by and took pictures. Here's 2 of the demolition program that are built at 1403 Northwestern and 621 Clark. And of the 8, the HIP program here is 2 on Lillian that I went by and took pictures. So those were successful programs.
Why was 621 North Clark torn down? Doesn't look bad from here.
No, they tore down
No,
That's a
it
new
was a demolition.
I was the same
No,
man.
yeah, no. These are the new constructions that were built on homes that were torn down.
Oh, the one at 1303 looks like it's not new. It looks like it's ready to come down, but now I see it's new.
No, it's,
Okay.
those are both new. Sorry.
Tell me where Lillian Lane is, I have no clue.
Okay, you go off of Lakeview, and then, did you just tell him? Okay. I know how to get back there.
It was woods when you grew up. A lot was woods.
And we do have new housing on the way, as you guys are aware. We still have fill lots that are being construction, and I went by and took a couple pictures of new homes being built on that were vacated at some time. We have the new proposed subdivision with 14 lots of the Bell Ray subdivision. The 43-acre site is nearing certification. We have had the recent boring done on the site, so hoping that is all down at the state right now being reviewed, so hoping we'll have an industrial site that can be certified and ready to go. Western Smokehouse.
That is the area next to the Plant Science Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Western Smokehouse Partners, I did talk to the CEO, and to date, they have 120 jobs. They're going to ramp up again in April of 2026 and hire another 40 to 50 as they continue to build out. And they'll be producing about 310 million meat snacks sticks each year, so at full production. So that's pretty impressive. These are the vacated buildings of Home Depot that we've lost and that I've been recently marketing. I have shared that I have marketed those to site selectors when I went to St. Louis. We've got, it can be 300,000, 300,000 buildings, or one 600,000 building, and that's the home where they actually had their main office. They are leaving all the racking behind. They're also leaving the hydrogen power that they ran their forklifts off, and that's has sparked a lot of interest in people that I've talked to. I did go to Minneapolis this weekend and shared these 3 buildings. Christopher Drive is a city-owned one, and below that is the interior picture. And then 5701 East Liberty is right out by Western Smokehouse, and it's 310,316 square feet, and that's an interior picture also. So we've got opportunities to grow here, and I think it's an asset, and I've been out promoting it a lot, so looking forward to seeing what can come of that next year. So, whoops, I missed a page. So, in collaboration with the Chamber, something that I'm really proud to be associated with Dana and working together with her. The one thing that Dana has taught me is to hurry up and have a job fair so we don't lose these employees. So you'll see at Crown Linen, we had one there, and actually the city hired one with our Parks Director. So there were 35 people that were being displaced, and almost all, except for the ones that were retiring, were able to find positions. The Home Depot one, we had at VFW, and there were over 60 that were being displaced. And again, most of those, there were a few that we lost to outside. They all stayed in Missouri, except for the ones that retired also. But it's really important to have these job fairs so we retain them, because we have enough companies here that need employees. So it was a great thing. We got positive feedback, and it was great to work with Dana on that. I did put at the bottom that you don't have on yours, but I kind of added that because Missouri Department of Economic Development shared something with us when I was at a Northeast meeting, that 20 jobs lost or gained here in a rural community is like 2,300 jobs lost or gained in the St. Louis metro area. So you don't think 20 is a lot of jobs, but when you compare it, it's like over 2,000 for the St. Louis. So it is a big deal. And that was a stat that, like I said, the Missouri Department of Economic Development shared with us.
Where do they get that number?
Actually, I believe Jeff Pinkerton, who does all the stats for the state, and he helped them with that, but they were able to compare it with all the data, and he is like a data guru with the
I
state.
mean, that's 110 St. Louis jobs for one lost year. I don't get the correlation.
Yeah, well, you know
I
what?
believe they're saying it, but I mean, wonder where they get their numbers.
I will ask him, because that's a great question, and, but that is what they did, that they were showing this so we could show our legislators that anytime we lose, even though they look at that number at 20, they never look at it as, oh, that's a big deal, but it really is. And Jeff, I'll ask him how he came up with that formula, but he's the one that shared it with DED. And that's where I got it. building our future workforce, something that I've been trying to get more and more involved in is with our kiddos and keeping our workforce here. Participating in the reality store. I participated in the Mexico High School Manufacturing Day. I do the Lunch Buddy, and I think those are all great programs to get connected and share what I do with them. And these again are different programs that the high school and the chamber and everybody collaborates with, and I think it's wonderful. I would love for our kiddos to stay here, and that's great programs to do that, to introduce them to what is available out there. And as you can see, like Zenith, a lot of kids were interested in that, and actually it was great to walk at True. They asked such great questions, so every experience was great. I went to 6 different ones, and they took them to Moberly Junior College too, so they could learn the different training to get into manufacturing. So he taught them some different programs that they offer there. Another collaboration is with Mark Twain Regional Council of Government and the Presser Art Center, something that I can tell you, when you bring in people to promote your area, results like this happen. And I had brought the state director in, and we toured Presser Art Center, and she got me connected with the CDBG Community Development Block Grant for demolition. This is something that Presser has been working on for years, and we're in the pipeline. It has taken a lot longer than I had anticipated, and I think Lois anticipated, just because you are dealing with SHPO anytime you have a historical building, and it did put a little snag on it, but we're back up and running again. But that has kind of been a liability to Presser Hall, and I hope that she can get it done. Community engagement to just chamber after hours, chamber ribbon cuttings. These are all great ways. Progress Mexico, Stay of the Community, Chamber Ambassador. Oh, and here's my parents on the Witchy Weekend. I made them come up here to Witchy Weekend, and I was the good witch. They were the bad witch. So just to show them off and show them all the things that we're doing here in a community, and these are, we're better together, and this is great to get engaged. Stakeholder attraction, this is where I was telling you in this picture, when I first started, shortly after I started, I was able, this is the Michelle Hadaway, Missouri Department of Economic Development Director, appointed by Mike Kehoe. This is Subhash Alias. He is the CEO of Missouri Partnership out of St. Louis. And then Gilmore and Bell, Mark Grimm is an attorney who has helped us out on several different projects too. We took the whole day and toured Mexico, and it was because of that collaboration I was connected with the CDBG group for Presser Hall. KBIA reporter reached out to me and wanted to learn more about Mexico and about the military school, so I was able to coordinate a meeting with her and to tour MMA. I'm going down and talking about Mexico to our legislators about different things that are coming up, whether it's a House bill trying to get more housing in the rural areas. Child care was another big topic. Health is always a topic too. Missouri Art Council was here. It was nice to communicate with them. I was made aware while they were here about different programs that they have as grant money that can help the community out. Also, I was able to get KOMU to come here 2 different times, one to talk about the health desert and set them up with different people to communicate with, and the other one to talk about our Main Street program. So all of this helps promote Mexico and is all part of the awareness and making people aware of the great community we have here. State recognition, of course, the Miss Missouri pageant is great, and then we had the Missouri Creative Community Award that you're aware that we got in 2025, and just great recognition from all over the state. Again, promoting your area. National recognition. I went to the Seidenstricker Genetics and met people from all over. It was amazing. I had no idea that it drew that much, and so it was good to get to know that event. And then Fluid Power, they had an article written about them in USA Today, and again, getting our town recognized helps me promote it too. And then community that invests in itself sends a clear message, and I just kind of listed over here, showed some things that Main Street Mexico is doing with the trees, the planters. They're working on the part. They got different grants to do maybe a mural on one side, and they're still planning that out. Also, something as simple as curbs and gutters, and although Drew probably doesn't think that's simple, but it just beautifies your streets. And then when you've got a school reinvesting to, that is another quality of life feature that helps me promote this area. Future, something that I just kind of wanted to touch on to you guys that's coming in the pipeline, and you've probably heard about these at Montgomery County data centers, and I just kind of wanted to introduce them to you tonight because they are knocking on a lot of people's doors. Data centers, and I want to start educating us to see if it's something as we move along. Is this something that you would like to see us recruit to have in our community? Because I want to make sure we're all on the same page with this data center. They do require a lot of power, but most of them are creating their own power as they come. We're talking megawatts. In Montgomery, that was a gigawatt, which is 1,000 megawatts. And if you talk to Ameren and the co-ops, they don't have that power here today. That's why a lot of these companies that are placing themselves all over the state, I think I found that we have 14 here. Now, this is different than the crypto mining, totally different. And I kind of gave a little scenario of how many jobs each, there's 4 different types of data centers, and what each one would bring as far as a job. Now, the hyperscale ones is the Amazon one that they're doing next door, and that brings in millions and millions of dollars in investment, and more 50 to 100 plus jobs per building. That is a little different, a little more rare to get those, but there's other data centers out there that are creating jobs, not a lot of jobs. So this isn't a job creation, but this is bringing lots of investment that could help our schools down the road. They have to refurbish their equipment, which helps in personal property. So it's something I just kind of want to introduce you guys to be aware of, talk about, see if it's something that you would like to see here. I'm still learning as we go about them. I know that they do use a lot of water consumption, but even on that end, they're kind of developing their own water so they don't take away from the community's waters with a loop system or even deep wells. you know, there's ways that we can educate. If you want to learn more, we can go tour some of these. Like I said, there's 14 here. DED and Missouri Partnership are trying to put out information for us as they learn too, because this is all kind of new. But it is something that I think could be a positive. I haven't heard as many negatives about it yet. I'm not saying they're not out there, so still learning as we go. Just kind of want to introduce you guys to it so you'd be aware that this is a hot thing that they're wanting to be everywhere, because if everybody uses them, if you use your email, if you store anything in clouds, it's through data centers, so. Just a thriving community is one that collaborates and works together, and I think the future looks really bright here in Mexico, and I'm excited to be here and be your economic developer, and I always end alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much, which is Helen Keller that I put on the bottom of my email, and I firmly believe that. I think we're better together. Any questions or comments?
On our vacant buildings, is there like I guess, a national platform where we get these out there and say,
Yep.
we have these buildings and...
Yes. So it's called Lois Location 1, and actually, the realtors have listed those on there. There's 2 realtors I just noticed last week that one of them is not listed, so I will go and just list it. I'm in contact with both New York owners of both of those buildings. We are still under lease with Home Depot, and so are they, but they're going ahead and pushing forward and marking them, so are we, so.
Do we do anything, I think I kind of mentioned before, the buildings I see being vacant in the near future, in my opinion, in Mexico, and they're old buildings. I'm talking about potentially Crown, I'm talking about potentially the school building across the street, the block that the county owns. Two or three more the other day that I thought of, and I can't think right now. Anyway, some of the old businesses in Mexico that are not here anymore, the old school across the street. Do we see any use for those? Do we market those? Do we ask the people that own them what's going to happen to them? Do we say, hey, tear them down? What do we do?
So I have reached out to the owner of this landmark. He has not called me back. I don't have an email for him, but if you have one,
I don't even know who owns it. Did you sell it to somebody, or is that after you? It's another after you?
So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
2 times after I owned it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I've reached out to him. He's the same guy that owns the laundry, yes, yeah. So I've reached out to him. I went and visited. No one mans that anymore, so I don't really know, but I will say I've visited 2 sites now, one in Fulton and one in Moberly, where they've taken old schools and converted them into senior housing. So they did the middle school in Moberly, and in Fulton, they did the George Washington Carver. And I met with one of the board members to see how they did it. There is a company down in the Boot Hill that I learned at a conference that they do that, and I believe they did one in Sedalia too. So in all those scenarios, either the city owned one of them or the school owned one of them. It wasn't a private individual, so what I believe the Washington Carver, I think, if I remember right, don't quote me on this, but I believe they sold that for around $70,000. It has to be a reasonable price or they can't make it work, because they are doing additions, renovations. The parking lot at the Washington Carver I thought was a little small, but then maybe there's not going to be a lot of drivers too. But
Can we lean on the people that own what Chris and I knew is the old Montgomery Ward building, the one that surrounds the chamber on the south and the west? It was apparently close to being sold. like within
Hours.
a day or hours
Days.
of being sold, and they backed out. Can we lean on those folks to say, hey, let's do something with this, or can you allow us to market it, to sell it? And those are the people that own the restaurant out south, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, there was someone just weeks from closing and they backed out. Now, that is one that I know that the city is working on too, with some structural concerns.
I know that. That's why I like to see it torn
Yeah.
down, very honestly. I'd rather see it blank than the way it looks.
Like, yeah. I know that Main Street, Mexico, the square of the Main Street, Mexico, would like to see something done too, and there's been people in communication with them a couple different times.
Now, I think Main Street's doing a really, really nice job from what I see, but nobody moves as fast as I would like to see them move.
Oh,
Because you don't have much time left. That's because you don't have much time left to see it done.
Good point. Good point. Good. In a whole bunch of ways, maybe. So, do we still get a lot of referrals from DED? We used to get lots of referrals.
So I'm not getting them from DED as much as I am Missouri Partnership, and they collaborate with DED. Missouri Partnership, I just sent our 3 buildings last week before I headed out of town. And I've had one that I sent out, but after I talked to utility companies, we didn't have enough power here for them. So and it was like they wanted a very quick startup time, and the power companies said that it would probably be 2 to 5 years before they could get us a transformer here. And when Bruce and I had a meeting with one of the companies, what they said is, we can get the power here, but we need like a build-out time, and we need to talk to the company to figure out, but the one that came in from Missouri Partnership, it was asking to move too fast, and they couldn't do it, so I couldn't submit. I had a couple sites that I wanted to submit for that project, but wasn't able to.
And the power companies would never look ahead and say, hey, maybe we could get started getting some power there because there's interest in some buildings. If we had power there, they'd...
Well, Bruce and I had that
They
conversation.
don't look that far ahead?
We had that conversation, and they're planning, the transformers are like on a 2-year wait to get a transformer. Everybody's wanting power, and these data centers are taking a lot of the equipment that is needed to build this power out. Now, if you look at Independence, Missouri, what a lot of the data centers are doing, they're looking at sites that they can get back up and running and make their own power. In Independence, there was a old coal mine that a company bought. They needed 800 megawatts to get that up. And so they bought this, and they're going to refurbish it and start up. But our power companies, just to give you an example, one of our main manufacturers uses 5 megawatts, and that's it. And they're talking about 800 megawatts. The one out in Montgomery, 1 gigawatt is the Amazon, and that is crazy. So they are talking about looping in some solar systems, and there's all kinds of things going on with that one. So over my head when it talks a lot of that.
It would seem like the AP Green site would be a great data center site.
That's what we thought.
That's what
Yeah.
you thought.
Probably just put stuff in the ground, it would probably power. Some of the retro stuff.
Stick some
Maybe
rods in there with wire off the
Yeah,
top
I'm
of it,
sure
get some power.
that ground might do that.
I've turned the AP Green site in on a couple projects, so.
Would you take and highlight, I think you got about, 5 projects going right now? Would you just, without going into too much detail but But like Project Oregon, different, would you list what those are a little bit, and some of the things that you're working on there?
Yeah, so Project Oregon is one that is vetted to close in February. They were delayed, they were supposed to close last year, but because of different environmental studies and stuff, it got delayed. As far as I know, it's listed with a realtor, and the realtor is still showing it as pending, so that's one.
And that's a company that's projected to come here in February. It's not a large employer, but...
Nope, it's not a large employer. And it's kind of a combination of a company from Texas and from Oregon. So, and it's gonna fill a building
They have a
up.
building location, or they have to build, or?
Nope, they have a building location. Yep.
I for one am not too fired up on the number of jobs they would offer, because we have jobs that are going begging here now. Now, that's not going to last forever, I understand. But if they had 50 or 100 jobs, that's equivalent to 5,000 in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so, I guess that is a concern. You always want jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But I have more of my concern is how much money they're going to invest and how's it going to affect our tax base. Can we build a city hall? Can the schools remodel or build new or whatever?
Which is why a lot of communities are eyeing these data centers, because there's so much, they say it's a cash cow for our school system, so, and our infrastructure and everything. So, I'm ready to hear what the negative side is, because I bet there's something out there, but I haven't heard it yet. So still researching, and I just kind of want to introduce it to you guys. So if you guys hear something, maybe I can follow up with DED and see what they know too.
It's a
So-
topic for discussion 3 days a week at lunch, I promise you,
Yeah,
with a lot of people. You're saying dozen people, but
yeah.
And they aren't heavy employers, but they're big investors.
yeah,
And that's kind of what you're saying.
That's exactly what
That's a
I'm
good
saying.
way to go after right now.
exactly what I mean, we see what the power plant did down at Callaway, South Callaway, or whatever they call that, Jiminy Christmas, what they've been able to do at their schools.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem practical, but there was one that I had a discussion with, and they were going to bring their power through natural gas. And that seems crazy that you're going to make electric through natural gas. It doesn't seem efficient, but that's what they were going to do. The other project, I had one a month ago fall through because we weren't close enough to St. Louis. So they were doing us a process of elimination, and they had a site that was closer, and that was a criteria. That was kind of a check mark. We didn't score as high. And then the project that I told you we didn't have enough power, that was one that I had to turn down. Then I turned in 3 last week of our vacant buildings. They haven't replied back, but I sent in all those before I hightailed it out here. And then when I went to Minnesota, of course, I talked to anyone who said they were looking for buildings, and when I was there at an event and promoted that. I have another one that I had someone reach out and meet with me and say they would like to see this business here, so I've reached out to that business, somebody that I knew that ran that company, and they're supposed to get me their real estate side. I will tell you, last week, from my prior position, I had been reaching out to hotels, and they just called me last Thursday and said, hey, we tracked you down, now we see you're in Mexico. And we were working with Mexico a couple years ago, you guys, and he said, I was reaching with a bunch of guys, I was trying to track you down in Boonville, but now that you're here, and we want to revisit that. So I will talk to him again. Housing is a big topic. Something I'm working on locally, and I will tell you that I was trying to court McBride and Son out of St. Louis because they do tract housing. They only give you so many plans, and then they just built tons of them. Like, I went to a subdivision at 500 homes. So I reached out to them, and when I had an event in St. Louis, I ran by their office in Chesterfield, gave them all the stuff on Mexico, and just said, hey, would they revisit that? Because if we don't have houses, it's going to be hard to fill these buildings with people, right? So he just emailed me today. So I hadn't heard from him in months, kind of checked him off and was looking at other alternatives. When I was up in Minneapolis, there's a guy that I talked to on housing, and they do manufactured housing. Does not look manufactured at all. They put gables and everything else on it, and he was telling me he built this duplex, or they did it a zero lot line where they sold each side for $175. And I know, Larry, you're gonna say that's not affordable, but you know, it's tough to get down too much farther with the cost of construction. So he was showing me some different row homes and willing to put metal roofs on, because that's something that I kind of look at, because if you have rental property, you know that insurance is now telling you if your roof's 10 years old, they're going to depreciate it out, and I just worry about people on fixed income that it's going to be depreciated out and they're not going to be able to place their roof. So let's look at a roof that I've appraised a house that had metal roofs on before, and they've lasted 100 years. So maybe we should start looking at something that's going to be more sustainable, and they're making metal roofs that are really pretty now too. So just looking at different options and different opportunities, but we do need to get housing here. I know the housing market has slowed a little bit, and we're seeing more houses out there, but some of those are not moving ready either, so.
The houses that we demolish and whatever that program that what do we do with those lots? I've forgotten.
We do not take ownership of the lots. And so we try to encourage the owner to, you know, move them. And we've had great success in getting other houses built back on them.
So what are those lots, roughly the average value of those lots?
They're about 10,000 is what they want to not go above. That's what most of the builders say. They don't want to go above that. And some will get them for less.
Is there, and these are just goofy questions, I'm sure, but is there a way that we could take ownership of them if we tear them down? And the reason I'm asking that question is if we took ownership of it, would it be worth it for us to do that and give them to somebody to build a house on?
The way that state law would work is we can't give. We have to get fair
Really?
market. Yep.
Now, I've heard of communities doing that. How do they get around it?
And Larry,
Which I can-
Moberly does that. They do some version of that, because I
Maybe
was
that's
just
where I heard
with her
that.
this weekend. There's a guy in her community, or a guy in their city that works for them, and she said, you need to call him, because she wasn't really up on how it all worked. So I'll call him and
I
see.
think some of them, they're running through their development court.
Yeah.
We've
I would
got
say that.
so.
Yeah, I would say that's probably what they're doing, but I'll find out more information on that.
We were talking about old buildings and empty buildings. What's going to happen with Crown Building? Any ideas?
I don't know. I haven't, I need to follow up with Tim on that one. So, yeah. I will,
Okay.
so. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, need approval of the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of January 12th.
Second.
Weber,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes. New business resolutions, bill number 2026-02, a resolution adopting the Parks Master Plan. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. The comprehensive Parks and Recreation Plan, which we started a year ago, is complete. And to cover the details, Chad Bartlett.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Last year at this time, we approved SWT to do a master plan for us. That was a budgeted item, and so now the plan has come to fruition. So it is in your handbook. The Park Board did adopt this in January of this year at their Park Board meeting, so, and now we are bringing it to you. We also sent it out digitally to you guys because how large the document is. As far as basically There's a few phases. This is just the first phase of it, and this is kind of the overview of our Parks and Rec system. We haven't had a master plan in a long time. Most of the time, it has been done by surveys, so we felt it was time to do a master plan, and we had 623 people complete the survey, so which is about a little over 5% of our population. We got tremendous feedback on it. The survey's results are in there as well in the appendix, so very pleased with what came from it, how it came out, and so I'll be happy to answer any of the questions as far as with the master plan, as far as how we went about it, or anything that you would like to know, and I'll try to do my best.
I move to read bill number 2026-2.
Second.
Weber,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Bill number 2026-02, resolution adopting the Parks and Master Plan from SWT Design. I move for passage of bill 2026-02.
Second.
Weber,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Hague,
Yes. Other business, staff report authorizing the retrofit of a primary digester recirculation pumps. Mr. Slate?
Yeah, wastewater treatment plant, pump. No, I can't imagine. But we'll have Drew explain why he needs another pump.
Glad we can see Drew.
You can't see me, yeah. Can I make a note at least that this is a planned item? So we looked at this last year, and in our primary digester building, we have a pump that's water-cooled, and it actually is leaking fairly substantially. So that produces an environment which is fairly corrosive, and it's causing some problems in that digester building. So we went in and contacted Van Devanter Engineering, who is the sole source provider for the pump, of that type of pump. And they provided a mechanical seal that would be used in lieu of that water packing seal at a price estimate of $16,522. That does not include freight, and then there is a 10 to 12 week lead time on that seal as well. Our wastewater staff would plan to install the seal, so there's no labor with this. I mentioned it was planned. We did budget $17,500 for the purchase of the retrofit here. So again, it's not a new pump. This is just a seal for the pump. And we do have that money in hand, so we would recommend proceeding with authorizing the purchase of this seal through Van Devanter Engineering at a cost of $16,522. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Van Devanter loves Mexico.
We do a lot of business with it.
Move for the approval of the authorizing a retrofit of the primary digester recirculation pumps, purchasing parts from Van Devanter Engineering for a cost of $16,522.
Second?
Weber,
Yes.
Miller.
Yep.
Hague,
Yes. Play the
Move
claims?
to play claims.
Second.
Weber,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Hague,
Yes. Council comments, Mr. Miller?
I don't think I have anything to say, except it snowed a lot, and the city did a fine job of getting the snow off the downtown area.
Yeah,
So,
good job.
and everywhere else too, so.
Good job. Yes. Mr. Weber?
I agree with Mr. Miller, which is unusual.
Don't tell anybody.
No, don't tell anybody, don't put that in the paper. The other question I have is, and I'm not in any hurry to slow it down or speed it up, either one is related to this building and replacement of, et cetera, et cetera. Are we going to, I don't know where we are in that process, what the timeframe is.
Well, we gave them some stuff, due diligence to do, and then they'll bring that back to us, and then we'll start.
You're planning to have another study session or 6 or 8?
I don't know if it's gonna, I mean, we might, but we've got what they're gonna bring to us is gonna be probably, then we start moving forward on which direction we wanna go.
Most likely will bring you a resolution, which would be to navigate to start the next phase.
I just gonna have some more questions
Okay? So,
sometime.
And I mean, I guess we could work a study session on what they bring it to us, but, But I know that we all agreed, or most of us agreed, that no to this building. So at some point in time, we've got to decide
And I have,
where we're going to
my
head.
mind works very slowly, you understand, so
Yeah.
I've had a couple of thoughts in the last couple of weeks since we had the study session, and sort of related to the two options, but not totally related to the two options. Just question about, can we do this, or how can we do this, why can't we do this? So that's why I asked about another study session.
I agree 100%. I think that we need to do our due diligence, and because it is a big ticket item, but I think we all agree something needs to be done, and we got to get rolling. So once they bring that to us, or Bruce lets us know, then we can start looking at it. I agree, very cold, and the city did a great job with streets. I try not to get on social media because somebody's street didn't get, but we can always look at the snow, the big snow areas first, the big roads, and then work there. And always seems we have some sort of fire when it's really cold too. I don't know, or maybe I just don't notice fires when it's warm. I don't know, but I always worry about when it's really cold, but we appreciate what they do as well. Fire department. Public comments. Anybody want to come to the podium and make a comment? State your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Say anything? No? Okay. So, not seeing anybody.
Move adjourned.
Second.
Weber?
Yes.
Miller? Eight?
Yes.